Hello, this is Ken, KB5WVK. This is my first tutorial, so I apologize that it's not perfect. Today we're going to be working with Ham Radio Deluxe by Simon Brown HB9DRV and the digital suite DM780. The purpose of the tutorial is to demonstrate the radio control feature that's available in the software that apparently isn't very well known, but it's extremely handy. Ham Radio Deluxe is available for download from its website, ham-radio-deluxe.com. The version that I have is the latest. It's build 2494, and it was released February 24, 2010. Today is February the 25th. Now, I already have HRD installed and hooked up. It's connected to a Yaesu FT950 with the Signalink USB interface, and very important when you're playing with macros, be connected to a dummy load. Don't do this on the air. You'll see why later. Now, I'm going to minimize this and bring up DM780. Now, as you can see, we're actually getting a signal even though we're on a dummy load. I'm going to come over here to where if I do transmit, it won't interfere with anyone in case they happen to be a block away. Now, these are your macros right here, and you can program them to do whatever you want. Generally, they're pre-programmed to transmit text, and they're editable. Very handy. But you can also do radio control with them. And here's how you do that. You go up to Tools. You go to Macros right here. Alright? And this is all the buttons that you see right here. Okay? Go to New Definition. Alright? Now you're going to need to be able to name this macro. Now until you know exactly what you want to do, just name it Test 1. Okay? Now if you click Tab, it'll punch it down into the next box for you. You can choose the group that you want the macro to be in. That's preference. Do that to your own taste and liking. Next, come to Radio Control. It's right here. Okay? Bring it up. It says, yeah, this is a macro to control your radio. That's exactly what we want to do. Notice it says closed. Connect to HRD. If you don't have a frequency, it's probably not going to work. Okay, notice that in this box over here, it punched in the text radio control. Leave it alone. Come over here, back over here to this box, and click Configure. Alright, notice all these buttons come up. Now, you have the choice of controlling sliders or controlling buttons. Well, let's start with a button. Here are the commands that are available to put in the macro. There may be more, but these are the ones that are available in this method. The first thing I want to do is, well, let's try tune. Alright, this will force the radio to tune to the antenna connected. So I selected tune, and as you notice, I put it in this button here. I'm going to select save. And this is very important. You can't just exit out of this. This is why I say you need a dummy load, because when I push this button, hopefully you can hear it in the background, there goes my auto tuner. Alright, notice that it put the command in the box. Alright, then select OK. And then back out. Okay. And voila, you have a new button right here on your toolbar. It says Test 1. And what happens when I press it? It triggers the auto tuner. Okay. Well, let's make another one. Tools, Macros, New Definition, Title. Let's call this one Narrow. Use short names so that it doesn't clog up your toolbar. Radio Control. Yes. Connect to HRD. See our tune button there. Go up here. Configure. Now, I'm going to make ones called narrow. Why narrow? Well, if you want to narrow the bandpass so that you can really zero in on a station and drop the bandpass filter down to 200 Hertz, this is what you do. And remember, when you get back to this box, to actually select the button. One is yes or on, and it usually appears in these two fields. Okay, and as you can see, my bandpass is narrowed right here. Select OK. OK. So, if I push this button, it goes to narrow, which it is now. If I want to undo that, I have to manually come over and press the narrow button on the radio. And you notice the band passes back to 3 kilohertz. Well, I don't want to push the button on the radio. I want it right here. Well, you got to make another button. These buttons are one-shot buttons. Okay, you can use them repeatedly, but they don't toggle. You can't click it and it goes back to the way it was. If there's a way to do that, I don't know. Alright? If you figure it out, let me know. So, tools, macros, new, wide. Okay, radio control, yes. Connect to HRD. Alright, come up here, on down, and let's find wide, or a button, a control that will do that. I know there's one in here. TX wide? No. So you know how you do that? We do the inverse. Okay. Go up and select narrow again. Okay. And hit save. But this time, on this button, we select narrow. It says 0. Narrow equals off. If you notice I click on it again, it makes it a 1 and on. 1 and on. See the 1 and the 0? Okay, so we'll make this one 0 and off. Okay. Now, we have test 1, which does our tuner. We have the second macro that brings our bandpass automatically down to 200 Hertz. Or we can click wide and bring it all the way up. And you can put multiple commands in one macro, okay, but some of them will work, sometimes they won't, sometimes it'll skip one. So experiment, don't just type it in there and expect it to work every time. Verify their operation. And this time I'm going to go up to configure, and let's see, for this one, doesn't matter which one you pick, I'm going to use, let's do antenna 2. Okay, save, antenna 2, and then okay. And then when I click on this button, it goes to antenna 2. But if I keep clicking on it, nothing happens. So I have to manually go over and go back to antenna 1. Okay, don't forget that. And I think you can figure out the rest. Thank you. I hope this has been helpful. 73 and good DX. KB5 WVK QRT.